If I saw Greenpeace going and lobbying in Irkutsk, then I'd say, fair enough, okay, you're right. More people get killed in Zimbabwe, I should imagine, every 6 months than have done in the last 10 years in South Africa. Shock Vicar? Greenpeace and everybody else didn't get bonkers about that. But it seems to me that it's all right for blacks to kill blacks. That's perfectly okay. They can just kill as many as they want. And nobody's going to say a word about it. And they can kill whites as well. That's also okay. But if a few policemen break up a riot and people get killed, which is not a good idea, then that's it. We condemn South Africa. I think it's a ludicrous situation. There's some crass hypocrites.
Anthony Mycock, the man jailed for a crime which it now appears may never have been committed, has been told that he must stay in prison pending an appeal court review of his case. Mycock has served almost half of a 5-year sentence for aggravated burglary of a flat in Manchester.
Any minute now.
Any minute.
You see that wood, Joe?
I hope so.
The punishment is made to fit the crime. Unfortunately, there seemed to be very little punishment today, and it doesn't seem to be enforced anyway. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. Rather like caning in schools, I believe discipline is very important. He will need discipline. If he's anything like me, well, anyway. I feel quite firmly on this. I think corporal punishment must be, capital punishment, must be reintroduced as a deterrent. It must be. I think it is very, very important that this deterrent always exists, the deterrent of discipline and punishment. That if you do something wrong, you don't get told, oh, well, it's psychological, or it's all because of your background, or all because of your surroundings. You have done something wrong. The rules are very simple. Thou shalt not kill. I mean, how many, I don't know the facts. I don't know how many miscarriages of justice, how many men have gone to the gallows that shouldn't have. I think very, very, very few. After all, the death sentence is only passed when one is as certain as one can be, and it's never, ever 100%, but let's say 95% is good enough for me. In fact, probably in most cases 90% is good enough for me. And I think the other thing is, the argument is who would hang them. I can think of a dozen people straight away who'd volunteer. They hang half these people. I don't, as far as hanging, in fact, probably I might even do it myself. If pushed, yes, I think I would have no qualms about it whatsoever. And I think I genuinely feel if it ended up to be proven to be a mistake, well, it was a mistake. We all make mistakes in life.
The bloody ambulance was there, the police were there. I was 7.7 the limit, my blood test, so it was entirely the crowd's fault. Jumped out in front of me shouting, "See Kyle." And I said, "That's it. Tally ho, boys. Band at 6 o'clock. Got her just before she got off the pavement. They were very understanding. She wasn't white, she wasn't English, so nobody really worried. So anyway, the police then wrote a letter and said that because the inconclusive results of the blood test, they were not going to pursue the prosecution or something silly. I bought myself a large drink and went for a drive. I thought, thank God there's decent law still left in this country. One had been in doubt recently. After that poor policeman got into trouble for shooting that Waldorf fellow. Anybody could make a mistake like that. It's easily done. That's a very good reason to put 22 bullets into him and then club him over the head. Stuff a hand grenade up his arse and see what happens. Yeah.
What the pop star found was a town that's dying. While camped outside Timbuktu are tens of thousands of nomads who have roamed the desert for centuries. Now even they have been forced to give up their traditional way of life because of the drought to seek shelter and food in the south. 1 million people are still at risk in this isolated region, in particular the nomad children. Emergency feeding centers have been set up to provide one high-protein meal a day, but epidemics of meningitis and measles have already killed half the children under 5. Some food aid is at last getting through to remote areas of Mali, but not enough to go round. Christopher Morris, BBC, Timbuktu.
Do I have a crutch pad?
Yeah,
Okay. This is all going to be for a lump of bottom. Other way up, Robert.
It's not, it's the right way up.
It's the wrong way up.
It'll slip up.
It's the wrong way up.
Other way up, Robert, it is. If it's a skate, it won't move off the bottom very easy, you think? Unless it's spotted rockfish.
Might be less a spotted bottom fish.
No hurry.
Which way's it coming?
I changed to it because
Don't come so far with your rod each time. Tighten your clutch up a bit. Alright, give it a stick now. No life.
it's pulling against me, but I mean it could be just hard.
Stretching your line maybe just.
I'm pulling like shit now, isn't it?
It's not pulling any longer.
What's happened?
It's all gone.
Eh?
Oh, lots gone.
Yeah.
Swivel and all. Not this broken.
Such is life. Might have been a £400 skate. On the other hand, it might have just been a bit of rock. But there you go, moment of excitement. Just trying to work out. I can't think what it is, why they're... I mean, unless there just are no bloody fish here.
No.
We've had one or two bits of bait taken off.
Yeah, but...
Beginning to look as if there are no fish.
I'm tempted to stay where we are tomorrow, off Dunnet Head.
You just leave it there.
With a big bait, fishing a big bait, everything set up perfectly with a trace, just get anchored and stay there.
Do we, any of us know?
Probably I'm the quietest. They do their thing, I do mine. They're not friends, they're just, I don't know, passing acquaintanceships. I don't know, I think hurrah Henry is not the right word, but there's, there's no jealousy or class consciousness, if you like. It's an amiable friendship. I mean, I take the piss out of them all the time, and they do it to me. I think I'm streetwise, I think the word is. I've seen, done, and taken in a lot which they don't take you at school. I'm not really worried about the country, actually. I'm worried about me.
You got any more onion rings, by any chance?
Ah, yes.
You haven't got any HP sauce, have you?
Yes, I'll get HP sauce.
Do you like it? You're not going to put HP sauce on it, are you?
Yeah.
As well, yes.
Everything in this world has got its price.
No, you can't eat.
What about morals, though?
And
Morals don't come into it. I used to take cattle into Nigeria. Listen, we used to go in with Coca-Cola cans and plastic knives and forks. I could get more done by giving them a Coca-Cola can and a plastic knife and fork. This is before the oil.
Thank you very much.
But if you gave them money. You haven't got the vinegar, have you?
See, here in front of mine.
Yeah.
It's empty.
It's not.
You've got Sarson's vinegar. Malt.
Well, for Scotland, I think you're doing bloody well.
Absolute rubbish.
Yeah. Well, she's working all by herself.
She's only got one bloody table to do, hasn't she?
Ah, it's fabulous. Thanks
You've
a lot.
never worked so hard for a table, have you?
No, right down.
There you are. What did
I
I do?
believe if you want something, ask for it. The acceptance of mediocrity is no good to anybody.
We're going to pay for it. Ask for it.
You're going to pay for it. Demand it. But don't you think so? Do you think people accept? People just grow up to accept Mark II all the time. Well, I think a lot of people, friends of mine anyway, are somewhat concerned about the outcome of the next election. Most of the old statesman-like politicians of the Labour Party are quietly making way for some very aggressive young gentlemen who have some very left-wing views, and they don't coincide with our views. And that's not to say that we are right-wing fascist. I think there is this fear. And I don't think just the city are concerned about what might happen as a result of this. I think the army might be a little bit concerned as well, the armed forces. I'm not a specialist in army manoeuvres, but I would not think it would take very much for a military unit to take control of London, to take control of the country, the government.